Activate.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. We are a show that is about multiple pathways to recovery, mental health, all that good stuff. By the way, you are not seeing things. This is a completely new setup, and it's quite strange because now Chad and I, it's like we're married, and
we have to sit across from each other.
Yeah, at the end of the table.
Yeah.
So,
which is good because I wanted to kill him earlier.
That's right. It is a marriage and a match made in heaven. Right, Chad?
Nope.
No, I hate him. All right, everybody. Oh, yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
But my good friend and person I hate at the moment, Chad Lamons, everybody.
Yep. I'm a DJ, producer, hell yeah, advocate.
Nice. Good
still
for
says
you.
that on the
Good
name
for
tag.
you. Good for you.
Yep. So there we go.
So I am excited to have this individual on. His name is Dr. Robb Kelly. He's a PhD. He is a speaker. I mean, he, like the laundry list, it just goes on and on and on. Yeah, he is the addiction doctor. And that's pretty much his specialty. But we're excited to have him all the way in from San Antonio. All right, so everybody give it up for Dr. Robb Kelly, all the way from San Antonio. How are you, Dr. Robb?
Doing good, guys. How we doing? Great to see you out there, guys.
Likewise. Yeah, you sound crystal clear now. So yeah, tell us a little bit about all the stuff you do, and where you're an advisor, and kind of the backstory, if you will.
Oh yeah, well, Dr. Robb Kelly, they call me the addiction doctor, though we do much more today than just addiction. Grew up in Manchester, UK, just in case you think I'm from North Texas. Definitely a Manchester accent. And just went through alcoholic, drug addict, lost everything, lost my kids, wife, houses, investments, medical license in the UK, and became homeless. For about 14 months, I was homeless, fighting and hurting people to survive, drinking myself to death. On 2 occasions of my 7 suicides, it actually worked, and I was pronounced dead, and they brought me back to life. And I hated those men for that, because I couldn't live with alcohol and I couldn't live without it. So
right. So
I just
you said
if I ever got off the streets.
Right. I was going to say, so you had 7 attempts, and then were you actually pronounced dead multiple times?
2 occasions, yeah, on the side of the road.
And did you have NDEs?
No, I did not. Thank goodness.
Right. Okay. All right. So onward.
And I stayed on for 14 months, and I always swore to myself, if I ever got off the streets, which 97% of people, by the way, who live on the streets in Manchester, UK, die on the streets. So I'm like one of 3% that actually got off the streets. And I just told myself that if I'm going to spend the rest of my life educating myself about addiction, alcoholism, and later on about the brain and the mind, we're kind of neuroscientists more than anything else, and how powerful the brain can be. And I've done that for about 25 years. We're the leading guys now in the addiction world and in the mindset and neuroscience world. So we not only deal with alcoholics and addicts, but we deal with entrepreneurs. We deal with people that want to take their life to the next level, and just be a success in life, because we know for a fact that most people only use 45 to 50% of their mental capability and capacity. We found the key to take people to 100%. So if you look at addiction as a whole, alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism, the same with any other addiction. It's not about the drink or the drugs or the porn or the sex. It's about the mindset. It's about childhood trauma. It's about the subconscious mind versus the conscious mind, and which one wins out that day. That's what it's all about. We've been going about 30 years. With a 98% success rate, with over 8,500 patients. So I think we're doing a good job.
Wow.
To now.
Yeah,
Sounds like it.
sounds like it for sure. So, and then have you written? I guess there books out there that you've written.
There's one book out there that I wrote about 2 years ago. It's called Daddy, Daddy, Please Stop Drinking. And it's what my 3-year-old said to me when the authorities took them off me.
Oh wow!
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, that's definitely sounds like a tissue book, like where you're gonna need to have some tears.
Yeah, definitely. It's I didn't see him for 30 years, them girls, by the way. It was only
Right,
recently.
right. Yeah. Well, so yeah, like as far as we're just having a little audio issue over here, so every once in a while. But yeah, it's probably gonna work better if you just talk for us, Rob, and we'll ask questions later.
Excellent. Just tap your hat when you want me to shut up, and I'll pause it for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book came out because of this. So I've not seen my girls for 30 years, estranged from them. Now I'm in America, they're in the UK. And the people kept telling me, you've got to write a book. You've got to write a book. You've been through so much. So I eventually wrote a book. And when we finished writing it after 30 years, ping went on my phone from Messenger at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was my daughter. And she called me dad. She called me dad. And I was just absolutely aghast. We jumped on the next plane. I met her at her house the next day. We hugged, we cried. She walked me into her living room and she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter.
Mm.
And right there and then, I knew I was doing something good. And 5 weeks ago, my youngest daughter got in contact with me. So, it's making a full circle. I've got my family back
Yeah.
after 30 years.
It's amazing how that happens, man. I always say, like, once you stop drinking and give yourself the chance, the universe has got your back. If you just let it.
I've been through so much stuff that years ago, I stopped believing in coincidences. I believe in God, the universe, Uncle Jimmy, whatever you want to call it. There's someone out there looking after me. And I live life today to the full, absolute full. I don't give a shit what people think about me. I don't care. I earn millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, and nobody owes me anything. I'm not reliant upon anybody. I just have fun every day.
That's great. I mean, that's great to come from where you were. So how long was that process from, the being homeless, multiple, suicide attempts until, till where you are now? So when did the repair start to happen, so to speak?
Probably about 30 years ago, 31,
Right.
32 years ago, maybe. So it's been a long time. There has been relapses in between.
Ah.
Because I stopped doing what I'm doing. I just pulled away. When you go on TV, when you're on Oprah, the doctor's eye opener most days, and you're having, anything from 10 million to 60 million people watching you, they're flying you in to do TV shows. I kind of got a little bit cocky, and I kind of got complacent, and I started to believe the hype, and I relapsed. It was about 5 years ago. So it taught me a big lesson of, this is not my doing. It's the universe is doing, and I have to follow direction. Stop getting on my high horse. It's not. I wish I was this clever, but I'm not. And just do what I do best, and stop worrying about what other people think or how much money I can get out of this. It's just, there's a rule in our company right now that we have, and 25% of our work is pro bono. End of story. And then we work with movie stars, rock stars, all them state stuff, and they pay a lot of money to come here. And then it's just about being of service, man. That's what it is today for me. I still have to make a living. I've got 5 offices around the world. We've got 3 other businesses. But at the end of the day, if I can help another human being on a daily basis, I've done my job, man.
Yeah. I'm always down, I guess that's in the program in AA, it's set up to sponsor people and Chad does that with spades. And then, I help my own way, but I'm all about, like, anybody that reaches out, which that does happen. I'm always there to try to give back. And that's frankly what the show based on was my version, because I was like, oh, there's such brilliant stories going on in the rooms. I'm like, somebody should actually talk about this, and maybe somebody else that hasn't been can relate and learn from our experiences.
Love that. So when I was on the streets, it was about 14 months. I was in the back ends of Manchester, offices and factories only, no people, no houses. I dropped down to my hands and knees. I was done. Like I was done. I looked up to the sky for whatever reason as an atheist, and I said, if there is a God up there, I can't do this on my own anymore. And the guy walked around the corner, and that's where my journey started.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. And then, so you said you had 5 offices. Where are all your offices?
We have one in Dallas, Texas. We have San Antonio, Texas. We have one in Australia, Perth. We have 2 in Manchester, and then we have a satellite office in Spain.
Right. So tell us all about the rock stars that you serve. Tell us all their backstories. Now, I mean, what you can share? Is there anything that you can share regarding, like, any success stories that you've had with your efforts as a clinician?
I can tell you about one person there's 2 people that told me, all the people we've worked with, that you can tell my story anywhere.
Mm.
The other people say I can tell a story one-on-one, but not in print and not on air. But it was Eddie Van Halen, which I didn't know. So here's a story, crazy story. So we get a call up his agent. We get to meet him at DFW airport. He's coming on a normal flight. He's going through some really bad stuff. Record company dropped him. And I was waiting. And I'd only been in the country for 3 months. Van Halen were. And the guy walks up to me and he says, "Is it Dr. Robb?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "It's Eddie." I said, "Eddie?" He went, "Yeah, Eddie Van Halen." I went, "Oh, cool." And then he turned around to me and said, "Well, shouldn't this be the other way, you recognizing me?" And I said, "Okay, well, that shit stops right now. I don't care who you are, what you've been. Shut up, get in the car or get back on the plane and go home." And he was as cool as anything. But then we gets back to the ranch, and after about the first month, we have a music room. And I'm telling this guy, I don't know who he is. I'm telling this guy, look, if you want to move in, I know you're a musician. If you want to go and play a guitar, you're welcome to do it. And while he was in there, he plays this riff that I've heard of from Michael Jackson song. And it's called Beat It.
Beat It, yeah.
And he plays
The
this
Beat It, yeah. The
riff
Beat It
on
solo.
Yeah. So I goes in and went, "Oh my God, that's so good. It's almost as good as the record." And he looks at me, like, you know that's me, don't you? And I'm like, "Yeah, really?" He said, "Yeah, that's I felt about 2 inches high."
That's amazing. Well, and that was so. I mean, I know he did have a period of sobriety, but I guess he had done kind of too much damage. And I mean, obviously we know he's passed away since, but I know that there was that period where he was, actually clean and functioning, because I've actually heard interviews with Sammy Hagar about, when it was going really south. They're doing all these major tours, like stadium tours. And he's like, they don't know if they're going to be able to play that night because, of Eddie's shape. And, I was glad to hear that, he got his help. And I mean, a lot of famous guitarists, who was it?
Famous musicians, period, man.
Yeah, period. But, and then you said there was another person that you could talk about. So let's hear it.
There was I tell you what, I'm not going to say the name, but this guy came to us. We picked him up from the LA jail. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked him up.
I already
He's
like
in
it.
there with his orange jumpsuit, right? He's on there, and we're going to court. The attorney is saying to the judge that he's going to be in my care. And the judge says, "Listen, Dr. Kelly, here's the deal. If he goes missing, because he was known for going missing and on the run, you're going to be back in my courtroom." Well, I didn't want to take it. I'm like, anyway, we had a meeting, went back. I said, "Okay, Your Honor, we'll take him." We slapped our handcuffs on him. We took him in our plane. We brought him back. We put him into our ranch and system. And it's about 2 weeks before he was going to leave. And I'm telling them all the time,
Mm-hmm.
everyone we've worked with, like if you know a musician or an actor or, who's got well all of a sudden, they've been through us, including some big white rap stars, and stuff like that. But we're telling him all the time that he's going to be doing good, he's going to be doing well. 2 weeks before, the doorman brings an envelope to the door. It's a huge brown envelope. He gives it to me and it has this guy's name on it. I give it to this guy. He opens the thing. He texts this bunches and bunches of paper out. And he said, "Oh my God, it's a script for Iron Man." Right there
Holy
in front of
shit.
my living room. In my living room. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And I guess we can fill in the blanks on who that might be.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Let's see.
Exactly.
Who was an Iron Man that had an addiction problem? I have no
Right.
idea.
No.
But that's
He
cool.
he
So,
definitely,
yeah.
it definitely
Go
wasn't
ahead.
a senior member. It was definitely a junior member.
Yeah, right. And he liked his sheets soft, like he used
Yeah,
like a nice
exactly.
fabric softener, maybe.
Exactly. And the other amazing
What?
one was a white rap star, which obviously I can't mention his name, but yeah, he was the
Yeah.
coolest dude ever. He was never upfront with us. He was always shady in some of the dealings that he did. But
That's good. That's good right there.
And he was possibly from Detroit,
Yeah.
and
Very
and he
slim.
never knew what his
Yes.
name
Very
was.
slim
He
in his
never knew
pickings.
what his name was. He kept asking what his name was, and he kept saying, my name is, but he never told us who he was.
That's great.
Yeah, I heard a badass story about him. Actually, he got to speak, or he went to go speak at the I think the International Young Persons Conference not that long ago, the YPA or whatever. So it's cool to see people giving back after they do stuff like that, because that's like you said, service work, dude. Like that's how you stay plugged in. And like, regardless of what you've got going on or a relapse or whatever, it's always much easier to get plugged back in than it is to like not plug in the first place. So I 100% agree with that.
And
Yeah, I
I'm
used to go
looking
across
at.
the world.
Oh, go ahead.
I used to go across the world speaking on behalf of 12-step rooms all the time. I love it. That's when I got sober. But giving back is what I do today. It's beautiful. And my guys who come to work with me or patients, they got to do the same.
Yeah, makes
Right.
perfect sense, man. Because why why try and reinvent the wheel, man? We know what works.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that's awesome.
And then so I was looking at the myriad of stuff. You also actually have a podcast, and I always love to cross pollinate. So, tell us about your podcast and what it's called.
Podcast. We had a couple in the past, but a podcast is step out the disease and into the solution. So it's all about,
Okay.
knowledge of addiction, and addiction could be anything, of course. Everybody has an addiction. Some are more dangerous than others. And it's about stepping out of what you think is life. And you think, well, this is it for life. It's not. It's not. You can recover from anything pertaining to addiction wise. Fully recover. I'm a recovered alcoholic. Recovered means to gain one's health and state of mind back. I'm no longer sick because I don't drink, and I don't have the mental obsession because my neural pathways, thought patterns have changed from self-sabotage to caring for others. So, it's really important. I spend most of the time when I go out talking in universities, hospitals, educating all the doctors and nurses about this disease. The research we found, let's say with alcoholism, guys, the research we found is like, why can't you stop drinking? Why can't you stop drinking? Well, what we found with our neuroscience research with alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made, is the three parts of the brain that differ from any other disease in the world is alcoholism. That's the basal ganglia, the hypothalamus, and the amygdala. The hypothalamus is where the disease is. And this means when we're born, our hypothalamus is our survival. It tells us to drink water, eat food to survive. It's a natural instinct. Check this out, guys. After so many years of alcoholism, the hypothalamus turns around and tells the alcoholic to drink alcohol only. That's why we can go days or weeks without food or water. When that part of the brain is telling us as a survival instinct to drink alcohol, that's why everything else is pushed to the back and it does not become a choice.
Right. And food gets in the way.
Yeah.
I know that from speaking. Yeah, it's like, how am I going to eat enough food but not kill my buzz?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, well, we're going to throw to commercial real quick. So we've got our good friend Max the Axe at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. And if you go to thispinklawyer.com, it will take you to Lone Star Injury Attorneys, and he will get you the maximum results for your personal injury needs. You got anything to say?
No, I don't.
And then also, Chad, your mama wrote a book.
Yep.
And it is called Two Calls.
Yep. Here we go.
Phone call as a parent that your son has been hit by a car and is being life flighted.
2 hours before we got the call, Chad had called me to tell me it was the best day of his life. And then I get another call, and a stranger had found him, and they were care flighting him to a trauma unit, and that he would start praying for our family that we needed to hurry.
You know, when you wake up on the operating table and they're like, we're going to cut off both your legs. And then I wake up and then one's gone, the other one's in an external rod system. It's just not good. The real kicker is that I've had like all of these scars all over my arms, and that's all from complications resulting from drug abuse.
I never thought about giving up on him. Never. This is my son, and I know he's going to be okay. You cannot just have help for the addict. You have to seek out professional help. The whole family has been affected.
And I just want to make that very clear to anybody who's out there listening, that if I can do this thing as much as I've been through, man, there's a lot of wiggle room for people before they get to that point where they can do it too.
All right. And I love Lil Sheila. Shout out Lil Sheila.
Shout out Lil Sheila. Shout out Lil Sheila.
Mama Bird. But so she has written a book, and also I think y'all have an upcoming appearance, right?
Yeah, we're doing like a book signing and stuff in McKinney at the library. It's like the 17th and 18th. I don't know if this will air before that.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Either way.
Yeah, I think it
maybe
will.
they can travel back in time.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
That's right. But if they want to also book y'all for speaking engagements,
Yes.
they can go to
twocalls.org, and then it's my email is chad@twocalls.org, and then hers is sheila@twocalls.org.
Right.
Or you just look us up. Or
it's pretty.
Yeah.
You're pretty accessible.
Yeah, I'm very accessible. All my
right.
mug shots are public.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
There we go.
Well, cool. So I love that, and shout out Lil Sheila.
Shout out Lil Sheila.
So and then we also have a track. Let's just play one of them today.
Right.
We have which one do you want to play?
We're gonna do the Cool Government video with Mr. Reagan.
Nice. Okay, yeah, we have a song streaming right now, and here it is.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
All right.
There you go.
Well, there we go.
The abrupt stop.
Yeah, right.
The
That was
abrupt
good, dude.
stop.
But that song, it's crazy because that song is actually getting play on the Kiss FM in the Ukraine, in Kiev. But I think that song resonates with those people for a reason.
Yes, and the ironic part, we put all this effort into all of these other tracks and got them playlisted and done all this stuff, and then we put this song out along with the Madonna, right? And like both of those tracks, dude, like
just
2,000 Shazams in the span of a month.
Yeah, on both of them. Yeah. It's insane,
so
and
it's insane.
I love that. It was kind of like we've done our time, so it's like.
Hopefully.
You know, it's a building process, but
Well, I did
yeah.
most of my time in Loose Sterrett in Dallas County Jail.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, be sure and check all our tracks out. Spotify, everywhere. Chad's got a YouTube channel. I got a YouTube channel, and then of course the show has a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so
so
be
like
sure
and subscribe to all that
and
stuff.
like and subscribe to all that mumbo jumbo.
And I know we got like 10 minutes left with
Right.
Dr. Kelly. So.
Yeah. So we want to get back to Dr. Kelly. Thank you for being patient with us in our new digs with our new sound and all the difficulties that come with that. Yeah. Other than that, so like, so are you an active, like as far as the program, as far as 12 steps, do you make that, like, is that part of your daily routine, or is that something that you base your recovery on, or?
Yeah, it's the morning routine is based on the 12 steps. Just the book is amazing. I think it's one of the best pieces of literature ever wrote pertaining to alcoholics, addicts, and the recovery of it. It's fascinating what we can tie into 1938, 39 to today's neuroscience. It's fascinating. So yeah, the first call for me is Alcoholics Anonymous, and we adopt some of that book in our program, but. The pink cloud thing, I've been on a pink cloud for 30 years, guys, and I'm not coming off on nobody. That's what I always say. Every day could be
Right.
amazing. So if you hear you're on that pink cloud, it won't last for long. Bullshit. Yeah, it does. 30 years and going. And most of my guys
Yeah,
are 20, 30 years and going because, there's life after recovery. There really is. You get this program on board. You get to the place where that compulsion is taken away and the obsessive mind is gone. You get to that place, man, and you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. And people say, they used to say to me this, guys, I say, you can do anything you want to do. I'm telling you, well, I can't be president of the United States. Let's forget your political views for a second. We had a freaking
Right.
business from running the country for 4 years. So you can do anything you want to do, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you're not drinking. I always say that drinking is, it becomes a second job. It becomes your primary job, and with drugs as well. But it's amazing what you can accomplish because you've learned to hustle so hard to maintain, that cloud and that, obstacle in your life, and it is like a full-time job to
Just stay well.
right, to just keep status quo, so to speak. But it's amazing what you can accomplish with just some clarity and time, because you have all of this hustle in you. And when you can redirect that hustle and for the greater good and for your personal greater good, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, and the cool man is you were right about how spot on they were about everything in the 1930s, because there's science-based approaches that almost everything, every piece of literature that you read about addiction has a basis in that book.
Yes.
And now they worded stuff differently, but everything we read is like a different version with science backing it about the same thing that they were talking about back then.
Right.
It still blows my mind today, like looking, how did they know kind of thing, even the neuroscience pertaining. But alcoholics and addicts are the only people that get 2 lives in one lifetime. So I often tell
say
people
that all
this,
the time,
once
man. I
you
love that.
recover, has to be. So are you going to sit in the same lifestyle with this second life? If you imagine, 300 neural pathways ish die every day. What are you replacing them with? The same thought patterns that you're less than, or new thought patterns that you can do it? Because I remember signing, like 4 years ago, I signed an office deal for 10 years in Dallas, Texas, Highland Park Medical Building. We had the full floor on there, and people said, "You're insane. How do you sleep at night?" It's like, I have 2 things to say to you. I died twice on the streets in Manchester. What can they do to me that already hasn't happened? What are they going to do? And that's how I've led my life. That's why I'm successful. That's why I got my kids back. It's like, guys, this is your second chance of life. don't just sit there and thinking that you can't do it or you're not worthy. Because if you're one of them guys that sat home listening to this guy thinking you're less than, I want to apologize to you because someone's freaking put that there. We're born with $1 million minds. Babies are born with two fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. The rest are made up. Oh, you can't do that. Wait till your father gets home. Stop it already. You can do anything that you want to do. I've proven it time and time and time again over the years. If you hang around 9 depressed people, you become the 10th. Find out your circle. Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. Hang around the guys that you want to be. And watch for this in your circle. You always get one. Oh, I see, Rob, you're putting weight on again. No, I'm just joking. Him. Get rid of him out of your circle. Because if you're not lifting your guys up and vice versa, you're always going to be stuck in that mentality that this is my
Right.
life and this is my lot. And that's not true.
It's funny.
Good,
I'm
'cause I need
over
to get
here.
rid of Kelly
I
then,
was
'cause
going to
Kelly
say
always calls me fat.
I'm over here laughing because Chad and I have the brotherly relationship of where we openly shit on each other all the time. And I am that thorn in his side, and vice versa.
No, dude, I'm a great guy.
Yeah,
I do nothing but build Kelly up.
That's right. He just does nothing but cheerlead for me, and then I just call him Tubby all the time. So, but that's funny. I notice, of course, when you're sober, it's funny how you pick up on people's cues and how they are and who is really there and who actually gives a shit about you, and who's in it to be a naysayer or just strictly not there to support or strictly it's all about them. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Watch for them guys. The guys that are watching
Yeah.
right now. Just watch for them. Surround yourself with the good guys. That's all you need. And they're around there. They're all around you. So what happens when you get sober is you see things that you think are new but always been happening. So you see let's say a friend who's always putting you down or using you for something or using your car. You've never seen that when you was drunk. Now you start to see it. If you want to find out who your friends are, guys, stop texting people and see if they text you first. They're your guys, because you'll be surprised how many won't when you see that when you get sober. And the other big thing with sobriety is family. You've got to get the family involved. Our tests show that the woman inside a violent, alcoholic, dysfunctional house has the same PTSD as a guy coming back from Afghanistan. You can't just let go of the family. You have to introduce the nearest person to the actual alcoholic or addict. So it's a family disease, but it's also a family recovery journey, and it can be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of that, so you have like multiple places, around the world, but do you have is there kind of a protocol that you, follow for, helping your clients? I mean, without giving away
as in the work that we do. Yeah. It's a daily program. 99% of our work is telehealth these days. So we work across the world, although we come out every 3 weeks to visit you. So it's based on neuroscience, neuro-linguistic programming, psychology, brain spotting, 9D breath work, and somatic experience.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about about the breath work? I'm interested in that.
Oh my goodness! Hold on to your seats. By the way, I've just got to go over 10 minutes. By the way, so we're good. Listen to this, guys. It's gonna absolutely drive you crazy when you hear this. Disease in the body, cancers, growths, inflammation start in a hypoxic area of the body. Period. We only breathe 40% of our normal capacity. If you ever notice when you go to the gym, it's not the exercises or the running that makes you feel good. It's this in between sets. So when we wake up in the morning, and the real reason nobody wakes up laughing from sleep is lack of oxygen. So in a normal circadian rhythm sleep pattern, between 2 and 5 o'clock is where the body is at its weakest. It's also when most people die of natural causes. So when we get up, none of our cells, none of our brain, nothing's working properly when we wake up. So the subconscious brain, that guy that wants to kill us, and make it look like an accident. He starts the morning. He wants to run the show that day. He wants you to have a shit day, come back home and moan and gripe about everything. That's the guy that wakes us up. How do we stuff that up? Well, we do the 20 exaggerated breaths in. Sit down or hold on to your bed first thing in the morning. It will stuff out the subconscious brain and awake the conscious brain. Now we're up and going. Now we can go out to the world and perform.
Right. I love that. I love that because it's funny. You know, Chad and I both actually have sleep apnea, so our subconscious mind is trying to murder us every night.
Yeah, well, the one thing I've learned through the program and everything else is that my brain has one job, and that job is to try and fucking kill me, dude. That's all it's good for if I let it. Now, then I can also harness that and use it in other ways. But, you know, that's the thing I had to really figure out, dude, is that my brain, and it wasn't anybody, I didn't realize it myself. It had to be pointed out to me that, you know, if I had a choice between, you know, the best life ever and, you know, in one hand and then a needle in the other hand, why haven't I chose the best life ever? And it's like a subconscious thing that I was just trying to avoid and blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, it was just my brain's job is to try and kill me, and it'll do it all sorts of ways. It's really funny. But I have a second thought now when it tries to do it, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, my brain is still trying to kill me. That's crazy.
now you're sober enough to realize that it's trying to kill you.
Yeah, in real time, too. I'm like, damn, dude, that's crazy. Dude. I'm nuts.
But yeah. So anyway, so do you have anything like coming up that you would like to plug as far as you know, where people can get a hold of you, or you know, anything that you would like to expound on?
I always come on these shows, and my motto is, I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's a book out there. If you like it, text me. I'll send it free for you. I'll pay for all the packages. But one thing I do like to plug is we've just started it is the robkellyfoundation.org, which helps children in alcoholic houses to help them, you know, get a better life. That's the only thing. The rest of the stuff, go
Google me.
Yeah, Google
that's
me.
That's what I always tell people. Google me, man. That's funny. Well, I would love to, like, when you're in the Dallas office, you know, actually have you here in person. I know you have a busy schedule, but it would be great to, you know, have you in person. And I think, you know, what you're doing, it's the Lord's work, but, you know, I think it's a good thing. You know, how you're sharing your message of hope.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come and stop by your Dallas office and go check it out, man.
Yeah. When do we know when the doctor is in? Like, I mean, do you spend a lot of time in the Dallas office, or is it mostly San Antonio, or what?
Yeah, well, I live in San Antonio and based here, but I'm thinking I'm going to go in about 5 weeks just to check on Courtney's in Dallas. So I'll get her to inform you when we're going to be down there, and let's get together and save some lives.
Yeah, that
Absolutely,
would be fantastic. Man. Well, you know, and I appreciate you coming on and dealing with the audio issues that we've had today. But, you know, I guess other than that, man, you know, thank you for coming on and
keep doing what you're doing, man.
Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, everybody give it up for Dr. Robb Kelly. Be sure and check out all his, Google him, if you will. It is Dr. Robb Kelly with 2 B's.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just like it says on his name tag.
Yep.
But other than that, I'm excited. Next week, we actually have my good friend Alex Woodson. He is a pro bodybuilder, but he was a meth addict prior to that, and a homie.
Hell yeah.
So I am excited to have him on. But other than that, be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. And remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.